I have two silk skirts with stains. I've marked them with Scotch tape so I can see where the stains are. And I don't know what caused the stains. Probably food. And it's usually dry by the time I notice it. They've already been to the dry cleaner and come back the same. Basically no different than when I took them. So I went to Joann Fabric and I bought myself an 1/8 of a yard of Dubani silk. And I purchased a medium to light color so that I can see better. I've cut my swatches into 11 pieces. One swatch is going to be the test control sample that I'm not going to do anything to, so I have a reference to compare it to. All 10 swatches are going to be stained the same and then washed with 10 different products: club soda, glycerin, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, Dawn, glass cleaner with ammonia, Shout, Woolite for dry clean, and bleach. Before I stain the silk on my swatches, I've taken a Sharpie pen and I've labeled each swatch club soda, glycerin, baking soda, and so on, so that I have all my swatches identified. Silk swatch is going to be stained with 10 different items. First item is ink pen. Next item is black Sharpie marker. In order to control the amount of stain, I'm going to use the same dropper and put 1 drop of stain in the same location on each swatch. The bottom left-hand corner is 1 drop of water. Now I'm doing 1 drop of olive oil. The next stain is red wine. Okay, and now for the turmeric oil mixture. Fresh blueberries, mush them up into a paste. I'm going to add a little bit of water for my next stain. Blueberry stain. World famous Sriracha hot sauce. Use the spout that it comes with. The next stain is a combination of Grey Poupon Dijon mustard and balsamic vinegar. It smells so good. I think I'm going to eat it when we're all done. Mustard and balsamic vinegar. Since I've been applying the stains, the water and the wine stain have evaporated and are not even visible. No trace. A cup of instant Folgers coffee. 5 days have passed since I stained my swatches. Watermark has dried and it's completely invisible. The red wine is almost invisible, maybe because the fabric is like a light rose, but I can't see it at all. Even the oil spot dried, and even in the light you can't even see it. What I do see is the ink line, the Sharpie black marker, the yellow turmeric. There's a slight stain where the coffee was, a slight stain where the blueberry was. Worst two spots are the red sriracha hot sauce, and the number one worst stain was a combination of balsamic vinegar and Dijon mustard. Brush off the dry turmeric, scrape off any food solids with a plastic knife. Okay, so as much of the solid has been removed as possible. I'm gonna work the soft bristle toothbrush in a circular motion. You can use your fingers too. The brush is not bothering the silk at all. I'm going in circular motion. Cleaning my soft bristle toothbrush with hand soap and rinsing it in between because you can see it's getting yellow from the turmeric. I'm going to soak my swatch completely submersed in new club soda for about 15 minutes. I'm rinsing my club soda swatch with cold water. Don't try to squeeze the water out of the silk. Pat it dry flat. Rinse with cold water. Pat dry. Press and blot instead of rubbing the stain back into the fabric, lifting the stain, whatever's left of it, onto the cotton. Some of the stain has gone through the backside onto the white terry cloth towel. That's exactly what you want to happen. I've transferred part of the stain from here onto there. I'm going to take my damp silk swatch and let it dry on a clean, dry towel. This is an at-home dry cleaning towelette from Woolite. It says on the instructions that it's specifically suited for silk. So I'm not going to go through the cleaning process that I used on the other swatches. I'm going to follow the manufacturer's instructions from Woolite. Okay, it comes with the Woolite towelette is scented. It says to put a towel behind your stained garment to pat the solution on the stains. I believe that this towelette is coated with what dry cleaners call H2O solution, but it doesn't say that. I'm just making that up. And keep repeating that process until you don't see the stain anymore. You never rinse it with water. It says repeat the process with the solution until you don't see the stain. Then you put it in the dryer for 20 minutes with one of these cloths. But the dryer part heats it up and freshens it so your garment doesn't smell. The drying part says that it does not remove any further stains. So if you can't get the stains off with just this, I guess you're out of luck. I can clearly see the stains still. I don't see how this is going to work. It hasn't even started to lift these stains. I can still see the turmeric too. It's coming through to the towels. There's a yellow spot here. Turmeric is coming out, but it's still clear. The blueberry, hot sauce, balsamic vinegar and mustard, marker and ink are still. I'll keep going. Maybe the brush will help? No, still clear. Oh, as I brush on the towelette, it gets a little sudsy. Well, I'll save you the money. The Woolite doesn't work at all. What about rubbing it on both sides? Rubbing it on both sides helped a little bit. You really have to work it, squeezing as hard as I can. Using the back of the brush to press. Alright, I have worked, brushed, and rubbed, and patted, and blotted the Woolite swatch for 15 minutes because there is no soak for 15 minutes. And I will complete the manufacturer's directions and put the swatch in the dryer for 20 minutes. I'll check on it every 5 minutes. You put it in with this. But it clearly says on the directions that the spots will not be removed from the drying process. One thing I don't like with the Woolite is that the swatch feels a bit soapy. You can't rinse it off. You're supposed to pat it dry so that you get as much of this H2O solution out of the fabric, but it still has a residue on it. You want to set your dryer on medium heat. Put your swatch and the towelette in the dryer. You're not supposed to under dry it or over dry it, so I'm going to check on it once every 5 minutes. Alright, it's been only 5 minutes. The fabric is dry, so I didn't need to go the full 20 minutes, but it's full of spots still. And finally, the last solvent, bleach. Since bleach is very strong and silk is very delicate, I'm going to use a solution of 1 cup of water, measured to 3/4 teaspoons. That's 3/4 of 1 teaspoon. Proportion. That proportion of bleach to water is what the manufacturer recommends for treating stains. Rub it on. The silk fabric soak in the bleach solution. I'm only going to do it for 5 minutes because that's what the bleach manufacturer recommends. 5 minutes is up. Rinse. Blot and dry. I'm going to iron the swatches just as I would my garment. And this way there are no wrinkles and you can see clearly the spots that are left. After rinsing and drying the swatches with water, they're a little wrinkly, so they need a quick touch up with a steam iron. Instead of putting water in my iron for steam, I gently spray the fabric with a light mist of water and get on it right away. It's really important that you do not squeeze, wrinkle, twist the silk fabric to get the water out of it because you can see ironing. Fabrics have all been ironed. Let's look at them under inside lighting. Number 1 best was Dawn. it removed all the stains and half of the ink and marker, superior to any other here. The ammonia came in second, also removing half of the ink and marker, but it left a transparent ring around the balsamic mustard and hot sauce. And even the blueberry has like a slight invisible transparent ring. Shout came in third. Bleach came in fourth. That's unbelievable that I could use bleach on silk and it would come out almost perfect. It's amazing that I could use bleach on silk and it was color fast. There was no leaking of color in the bleach whatsoever. The rubbing alcohol lost some color in the process, but that's the only one that affected the color fastness. The glycerin was fifth. It did a very good job, but I can see a trace of the coffee stain, slight turmeric. It did nothing for the ink and the Sharpie. The rubbing alcohol was very similar to the glycerin, only the rubbing alcohol worked on the ink and the Sharpie and left the turmeric that the glycerin got rid of. And then the last four, club soda, hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and the worst of all is Woolite, left more spots and stains than any of them. Now let's look at them outside in natural daylight. It's pretty much the same in natural sunlight. The Dawn was by far the best. I thought Dawn would be too harsh on the silk, but I don't see any loss of texture or color. The ammonia was second best, but the ammonia left some rings where the balsamic, hot sauce, and blueberry were. The Shout also left some rings, but it didn't do much for the ink or the Sharpie. The Bleach didn't leave rings, but it left some of the coloration spots. And the rest just get worse. Glycerin, rubbing alcohol, club soda, hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and Woolite. I wouldn't change the order. It appears to be the same. Baking soda's probably equally as bad as the Woolite. The Woolite just had darker stains remaining. The best thing about the Dawn, that's heads and tails above everybody else, is that Dawn did not leave rings as visible as every other product. Ammonia, Shout, Bleach, and glycerin removed the heavy-duty stains, but they left a slight ring that's a little bit lighter in color. It left its own mark, where on Dawn that is not visible. Compare the cleaning swatches to the original untouched test sample. The test sample looks a little bit lighter in color than each and every one of the swatches that were cleaned. Just slightly. The test swatch is just a little bit lighter, even lighter than the Woolite, which was never rinsed with water. But it's minimal. If my clothing came clean and I could wear it again, I could stand it being half a shade slightly darker. So if you're cooking Indian food with turmeric, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, club soda, and rubbing alcohol are not going to help you at all. Now, as a bonus round, I am going to spray hairspray on the ink of each swatch. Then put all the swatches in a mild laundry detergent, hand dry them, and see if there's any more change. I'm going to do an extra bonus round and spray hairspray on the ink and the Sharpie just to see if it helps lift. Those are the two stains that almost every solvent had a hard time with. They've all been soaking in hairspray for 15 minutes. It's a little sticky, so we're gonna rinse them all off with cold water. Now I'm gonna put them all in a bath with just a little bit of regular laundry detergent for another 15. The swatches have all been rinsed from the laundry detergent and are laying out flat to dry. After the hairspray and the regular laundry washing, Dawn is still the clear winner, now with no trace of the ink pen, only a faint trace of the black Sharpie marker. The Shout and the ammonia come in second. Very similar results after the hairspray and the washing. Everything's gone except the black marker, like Dawn, except that there are slight transparent rings where the stains were located, which is not evident on the Dawn. The Woolite jumped to 5th place after the hairspray and the laundry test. The hairspray and laundry got rid of almost all those stains that were left on the Woolite after the dry clean only H2O cloth. But the problem is, just like on the bleach, it left a slight residue of where those stains were. As for glycerin, rubbing alcohol, club soda, hydrogen peroxide, and baking soda, they're not going to help you very much. They still have turmeric stains and Sharpie stains, but now the ink stain is gone because of the hairspray. Here's the original test sample swatch that was kept aside as a control piece. As you can see, it is slightly lighter in color than all of the silk swatches that have been washed. Lighter color is not because it's the back side of the fabric. The sample swatch is lighter on both sides. It doesn't look like the washed fabric shrunk. I'll take the clean fabric that's slightly darker any day over the stained fabric that I can't wear at all and have to throw out. Now for the final test. I'm going to use and trust Dawn dishwashing liquid on my very expensive silk skirts. No one paid me to do this video. I was not hired to review product. I simply decided that my expensive silk skirts were worth washing correctly the first time. I wanted to get the information firsthand myself, instead of trusting a lot of potentially misinformation that might be out there. Since I already have a YouTube channel, it wasn't that difficult for me to make a new video on how to clean silk. Here goes. I'm going to trust Dawn dishwashing liquid with my favorite expensive silk skirts. This is a Dana Buckman. Never even wet the whole thing. Okay, Dawn, don't let me down. I labeled all the spots with Scotch tape because when it gets wet, I can't see where it is anymore. Oh, it makes me nervous just doing it. I don't know why. I just spent the last month figuring out how to clean my silk properly. Soap for 15. Oh no, the color of the dishwashing water is slightly pink, so I am losing a little bit of color. Now I'm going to wash it in regular laundry detergent. Rinsing with cold water, remembering not to wring, not to twist. The water alone is not making the color bleed. It's the detergent that does that. Here's my second beloved skirt. This is an Oscar de la Renta. Oh, circular. I forgot everything I learned. Soak it in a concentrated solution of Dawn for 15 minutes. There it is, submersed in the Dawn. My second skirt did not have any loss of color. The water was clear. Now for 15 minutes in regular laundry detergent. I got excellent results on my expensive silk skirt. The skirt has been washed in Dawn, the jacket has not, and they're still the same color. I'm going to now take the 10 original swatches and wash them all with Dawn to see if Dawn will later get out stains that your dry cleaner didn't. My samples are getting a little bit smaller only because they're unraveling as I wash them. All the swatches have finally been washed with Dawn, and Dawn was amazingly able to remove the clear rings, the spots that were showing on the fabric where the stain had been removed. The ammonia, glycerin, shout, woolite, bleach, and club soda all came clean. For some reason, the baking soda, rubbing alcohol, and hydrogen peroxide still have a yellow turmeric mark on them even after the Dawn. Do not use hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, or baking soda on your soap. Something about these three products must have set that stain and made it difficult for Dawn to get out. The moral of the story is wash it with Dawn first. Repeat if necessary.